Today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on the sentence. So let's begin. First, what is a sentence? Orthographically, or what you write on a piece of paper in your essay, a sentence consists of a sequence of words whose first word starts with a capital letter and whose last word is followed by an end punctuation mark. So, Sue went to London last week and her father went with her. Obviously, capital letter S, end punctuation mark, full stop or period. Is Sue in London right now? Capital letter, end punctuation mark, question mark. I can't believe Sue is in London right now. Capital letter, end punctuation mark, exclamation point. Although the last two sentences, the interrogative sentence and the exclamatory sentence, are not used very often in academic writing. Grammatically, however, we need to introduce the notion of a clause to explain what a sentence is. And a clause, at least for our purposes here, is a unit that typically consists minimally of a subject and a verb. So I smile, subject I, smile verb. The price of eggs in China is rising. The price of eggs in China, subject unit, is rising, the verb. Terry and Deb ate a sandwich this morning. Terry and Deb, subject, ate, verb. And obviously there are other things that come after that, right? But we won't get into those right now. On the basis of a clause, we can distinguish between different sentence types. The first sentence type is a simple sentence. And a simple sentence consists of a single independent clause. I like Mondays. The old hotel at the end of the street will probably be knocked down soon. The second sentence type, a compound sentence, consists of two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. I love dogs, but my wife loves cats. My car had a flat tire, and I couldn't get to work on time. So but and are what we call coordinating conjunctions. And we'll deal with that in a moment, what exactly coordinating conjunctions are. The last sentence type is what we call a complex sentence. And that is an independent clause with one or more dependent clauses. I don't like when dogs bark at me because they scare me. The woman who left the bar early was involved in the murder of the guy that you were talking to. So when and because in the first sentence signal a dependent clause. And why? Well, I don't like. What don't you like? Well, it gives a little bit of a condition. I don't like when dogs bark at me. Why not? Because they scare me. And it's these words, when and because, that signal a dependent clause because they're dependent, or they signal some type of dependency on what goes beforehand. Namely, what don't you like? When dogs bark at me. Why not? Because they scare me. The woman who left the bar early was involved in the murder of the guy that you were talking to. Which woman? The woman who left the bar early. So this who left the bar early is dependent on woman because it defines that woman. It makes that woman a little more specific. So it's dependent on this idea of the woman, of the guy that you were talking to. Once again, this that is joined up to the guy. Makes that guy a little more concrete. It defines that guy. It's dependent on that guy. Now let's take a look at this idea of a subordinating versus a coordinating conjunction. This will play a role later on when we take a look at different types of sentences, run-on sentence or different types of sentence mistakes. So run-on sentences, rambling sentences, and sentence fragments. A conjunction can be used to connect words, phrases, and clauses. I had bacon and eggs for breakfast. Bacon and eggs. The and connects the bacon and eggs. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Right? Phrases. Over the river and through the woods. These two things are connected. I went to the movies and my wife stayed home. Right? The and connects these two clauses. However, there's two types of relationships. The first type of relationship is a coordinating relationship. And that means that the two elements are on the same level or of equal rank. Right? So I went to the movies, but my wife stayed at home. Essentially, I went to the movies, my wife stayed at home, are what we would call, they're of equal rank. Right? They're essentially two independent clauses just joined by that coordinating conjunction. So they're on the same level. My wife stayed at home because she was tired. That because signals a subordinating relationship. Namely, you're providing the reason for why your wife stayed at home. So that second part of the sentence, right, because she was tired, is dependent on the first part of the sentence. And we saw the same thing in the previous sentences. Now, coordinating conjunctions generally don't give German students problems, right? So let's take a look. Some of these are typical coordinating conjunctions, and these are conjunctions that most of you guys already know. Right? So your coordinating conjunctions: and, or, nor, but, and yet. Right? Very, very typical, very common coordinating conjunctions.